Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy IV with me, Jerupitus. And in the last episode, we just exited the Dwarf Castle and we're on our way to the Tower of Babel because the King of Giott had a 5-head galactic brain plan to steal the crystals back from Golbez while he's out trying to collect the final dark crystal in the underworld. And we've got quite a walk, so let's get right to it. Now, these are all going to be new to us. Fortunately, this should go pretty quickly. However, our fire weapons are not going to be at their very best down here. Somewhat predictably, because we're near all this lava and things like that, there's going to be a lot of fire-resistant monsters. But fortunately, we're going to be able to correct that fairly soon. Ooh, and Rydia gets down the Paralyzed. That's always nice. But one of the things that I wanted to mention that I kind of can't believe I forgot to talk about in the last episode was one of the cuts from the Japanese version. The worst one, in my opinion, the one that makes me the most sad, the one that makes me legitimately feel like I'm actually missing something, is in the Dwarf Castle, and that is the secret developers room, where inside you could meet developer sprites. You could talk to them, you could even fight some of them, and that sounds just amazing to me, and I'm really sad that that got cut. Now, just past this lava field, we're gonna see some tanks. And the dwarves have very nicely committed their ground forces to running interference for us, creating a distraction so that we can infiltrate the tower. The dwarves are kind of the best. And here we are, inside the Tower of Babel. Flame dogs are new. This is what I was talking about when I was saying our fire weapons are not at their best. Fortunately, we have Rydia with us. And Ice 2 will take care of these guys, no problem. In fact, I should really, well, we'll worry about that in just a moment. What I was gonna say is I should probably throw in my ice arrows, but we're about to find some more right now. And I'll go ahead and put those on now. I don't want to be too clairvoyant, if that makes sense. I want to kind of follow the clues that the game naturally gives you. Yeah, let's heal up our casters. Just make sure they're topped up. Oh, and Kane needs a cure as well. That should be good. And one other thing that I haven't mentioned yet is Rosa's ability that got cut, which was called Pray. And I feel like maybe they cut it mostly for censorship reasons. They would have had to change it to Wish or something. But it's another one of those abilities that I'm kind of glad they cut. What Pray did was grant you a 50% chance to cast Cure on the party. And that just sounds like something I would basically never use. Like, 50% is not very good odds. Half of the time it will do absolutely nothing. That's just a waste of a turn. Not sure if we've seen Black Liz before, so I think I'll leave this in. Ooh, Radiant's kind of taking a beating. I better watch that. Yeah, they cast Petrify, but unless they end up kind of randomly focusing on one person, it's not really much of a threat. Why don't we go ahead and throw a Cure 2 on Rydia, though? Just be safe. Okay, that ought to do it. Right, Rosa levels up. That's always good. Let's just make sure we're topped up before we continue. And this place is going to be a bit of a hike. It is a long dungeon, and the encounter rate in here seems to be really, really high. Ooh, the bandana. That's going to be nice. That's going to be a helmet for Yang. And just like the headband, it will increase his attack. So we won't notice an attack increase here. So it's just better defense, but he gets to keep the attack, and I'm all about that. One of the things I did want to mention, we're going to encounter a lot of treasure rooms like this. And all of them are going to have monsters in the treasure chests. And it's going to be these little alert guys. And what they're going to do is summon a monster, sort of the same as the summoner enemy that had the marionettes with him. And what we've got to do is, just like the summoner, we've got to kill the alert. Otherwise, he'll just keep summoning more monsters. From time to time, he will also shoot us with a laser beam. I'm really hoping Gang gets a turn here. Yeah, I hope so. Not quite, but this ought to do it. These things, despite being made out of stone... Okay, here we go. Are just super weak to Yang's attack. He just does like 2 grand. And for our trouble, we get the Blizzard Spear, and this thing is sweet. Check this out. It's going to grant 11 more attack, bump Kane's attack up to 90, and when you use it as an item, it casts Ice too. Ooh, eggs are new. What I'm going to do is see if I can't kill it in one hit with Kane's jump. If you don't kill this thing in one hit, it will hatch into a monster. Bam. It's usually a Black Liz. I'm not sure if it's always a Black Liz. It seems like it is. And what do we have here? I think we haven't seen Flame Man yet. But I'm just going to have Kane actually attack because his Blizzard Lance is just going to be devastating against these things. And it will just come out faster. Yep, 2 grand. Awesome. But the Flame Men and Flame Dogs are just... I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to differentiate them. They don't really do very much different. They're just sort of fire elemental enemies, and they die really, really badly to our ice gear. That is conveniently located all over this place. And it's monsters again, imagine that. So we're going to do the same thing we did last time, just send a trio of attacks at the alert. Oh. Chimeras are actually a little bit of a problem. They have really good elemental resistances. But fortunately... There's this little laser beam attack. They're really, really weak to poison, it seems. So we're going to drop my favorite spell. And this is going to devastate this dude. Yeah. Alright, Cecil leveled up, and for our trouble we get the Ice Brand, which is an Ice Elemental Sword for Cecil. Unfortunately, this one doesn't cast any spells, but it is 10 more attack, which is just fantastic. And it looks like we're pretty good. I don't feel the need to top up, so let's get a move on. That should be good. Now, one thing I did want to mention while we're climbing this tower is that, ooh, the cat claw. Okay. That's going to be a new claw for Yang, and this one is real sweet, so we're going to switch it out for the poison claw, and the reason is because the cat claw grants +5 strength and agility, and has a 30% chance to inflict sleep, and so confuse and sleep are very, very useful status ailments as compared to poison. But what I was going to say is that Final Fantasy IV... Ooh, they just dropped a fire shield. That's pretty cool. I don't want to use it because it will just introduce a flame weakness to Kain. But having a spare is pretty nice. But what I was going to say is that Final Fantasy IV has a very interesting development history. It was originally going to be a game for the NES, and Sakaguchi says that it was about 80% done, the NES game was, and I wish so badly that there was like a copy, like maybe an early release developer thing for it. I would love to have seen what that looked like. Alright, let's top up. That should be good. And the other interesting thing is that while they used as much as they could in developing for the SNES, there's the archer bow. That's going to be a little bit of an upgrade for Rosa, and at least she has her ice arrows, so she can do some reasonable damage. Obviously nothing like our actual sword and lance wielders, but you know, every little bit helps. But the original script for this game, what you see here in the actual game is a quarter of the length of the original script. And the lead developer of this game, who was Takashi Tokita, felt that actually cutting the script down helped with the pacing. Because if you can imagine, like, I've been reading a lot of dialogue so far. Can you imagine there being 4 times as much? I think it's safe to assume that the game would have felt pretty overstuffed if the script was 4 times longer. But that sort of thing is why I love these old games as much as I do, is because I think that it's a lot like poetry, where it's working around your limitations when you're trying to fit words into sort of like a rhyme scheme or things like that. It's the limitations that inspire the most creativity to get around them and still convey your meaning. It makes you think on a much deeper level about things and how you really want to convey them. And that's what I see in these retro games. I really do see actual poetry. Monsters again, let's go. And this one's gonna summon a Naga, which is super weird to me because I feel like we met those in the Dark Elf Cave. So it feels like a fairly antiquated enemy at this point. And I did tell you that Yang's HP growth was absolutely out of control. I think he's at 1500 already. The Naga did its tongue attack, but it didn't do anything. But that would have done a sleep status ailment. And we get the Ice Shield. I will put that on immediately. Cool. Oh, I should show you this. Why not? This room is empty. I feel like that's a page right out of the original Final Fantasy's playbook. Just empty rooms that don't do anything. Oh, what do we have here? Oh my god, it's monsters again. At least the alert always summons something new. And it's, of course, a flame dog. Yeah, we just used a 10, so we can spend our MP pretty freely, I would say. Oh, this Ice 2 is going to be brutal. Yep, 2 grand. I love it. And for our trouble, we get the Ice Armor. Let's go ahead and put that on. And it's going to give me a couple more defense and the resistances I want, but unlike the Flame Shield, I suppose I'll just show this instead of talking about it. It doesn't actually add any more defense, whereas the Fire Armor does add a little bit more defense. It's got a weakness that we don't want, but things haven't really been casting fire on us that much, so I think we're gonna be okay. Nice, Rosa just learned Cure 3, I like that. But for Kain, I think I would rather just have a couple more defense and not really worry about flame attacks too much. He will be jumped like half the time anyway, so I think it makes sense to do. Something I like about this tower is that it reminds me a lot of the Mirage Tower, where the sort of geometry of the walls make you feel like you're in a tower. I love that design. Just 2,000 gil. Look at this. We've got 100,000. I'm not even really sure why they bothered putting gil in treasure chests if it's going to be those, like, absurdly tiny amounts. I don't feel like we're ever really going to need to worry about money. But we'll see. But I haven't had to buy a single item yet. I've had to buy a couple of pieces of equipment, but that's about it. Now let's check out this door up here. And that door is locked, so there's nowhere to go but up, so that's where we're gonna go. Okay, wow. Look at the condition we're in. That was one Chimera. I do like that the life potion says bring back to senses. They've removed all references to things like death. People swoon in this game, for example. But no swooning for us. We gotta get to the top of this tower and hope that the crystals are up there. And a Cure 2? Okay, I'll take it. Alright, we're on the 6th floor, and look at this thing right above us. I don't know what it is, but I just think it's a really nice touch. The way that things in this tower shimmer, it looks all, I don't know, technologically advanced. It's really sweet. And right over here, we're going to find ourselves another save point. We're not going to need that, but we will go ahead and use a tent. We have lots of them, and I see no reason not to. I feel like this dungeon may have been significantly harder in the Japanese version, just because the fact that they give you 2 separate save points feels pretty generous. But I don't find anything in here particularly challenging. Ether 2, I'll take that. And something new I'm trying with this playthrough is basically I'm just going to try to keep going forward and do almost no grinding, at least as much as I can avoid it, just to try to keep the amount of challenge intact in as much as I can, despite the fact that a decent amount of it has been removed from this version. Ooh, look at this. It's Dr. Lugae, and he says Master Rubicant, and Rubicant, of course, is the Fiend of Fire, according to the other fiends, the strongest one. And he admonishes him, please be careful. And Rubicant replies, Eblan has fallen, so the threat is gone. And we haven't been to Eblan yet, but we will check that out pretty soon. You'll take care of this place while I'm gone. And Rubicant teleports to parts unknown, and now Dr. Lugae's all alone. And you know what it means when you're all alone, right? That's right, it's dance party time. Golbez and Rubicant both are gone. Now I'm the leader here. And Rydia can't help herself and exclaims, weird guy. And Rosa tries to quiet her down, but it's too late. And he says, who's there? And Cecil goes, oops. Yep, we're kind of a bungling group, aren't we? Dr. Lugae says, Cecil. And Kain says, won't you call for help, Doctor? And Dr. Lugae says, don't take me lightly or you'll get burned. And Kain says, makes me laugh. Now face my beloved child, Balnab. And Balnab is some kind of Frankenstein robot that Dr. Lugae has built. Go, Balnab. And I think I'm gonna try lightning because he's a machine. Balnab says, grrr. And he punches Dr. Lugae in the face. And the doctor says, ouch, not me, them, over there. And Balnab says, grrr. And he says, beat them up. I will tell you this. If Balnab is anything like a computer, computers only know exactly what you tell them to do. They don't know what you want them to do. And so if you tell Balnab, go, he's gonna start punching anything in sight. He doesn't know who you mean. He also doesn't look very smart. And Dr. Lugae is a human, so let's use fire on him, and hopefully that'll work. But he's not going to be much of a threat all by himself. $747, not too bad. And the doctor says, oh, my dear, I will operate him directly now. And so he's gonna hop inside the fallen robot. And this thing can hit pretty hard. Fortunately, it didn't do much damage to Rosa there. And let's go ahead and use lightning again, because he's a machine. I may be overthinking that, but it makes sense in my head. Yeah, I don't have time to get a cure down on Kane, so we'll just let him jump. And the doctor says, what's this button? And he explodes. Oh, I'm glad that didn't damage Rydia too much. That's nice. But I find it funny that the doctor would find a button that he doesn't know what it does on a machine that he built. So anyways, Dr. Lugae says, I'll show you my real strength. And the doctor's gonna steal my line, now the real fight. That's right, the real fight begins, let's go. Watch. And he's gonna turn into some kind of skeleton thing. And the skeleton is going to immediately poison all of us. Unfortunately, this boss doesn't end up being very much of a threat. That beam attack can be really damaging, but he's gonna spend a lot of turns doing that gas attack. And that apparently doesn't work if we're already under a status ailment. What it would do if we weren't all poisoned would be put us to sleep. And he gets to do it like 5 times a round. That just dropped Kane. That is unfortunate. I'm gonna see if I can't get Kane back up. Titan's gonna be some fat damage. Look at how buff he is. 1600. Do I have life 1? I do. Let's just go ahead and use it. Any mission does like 0 damage. And let's get a Cure 2 down on Kane. I don't want him to miss this experience points from this fight. And he weirdly is going to heal all of us. I don't know if that's like a change in enemy AI for just the American version. But there we get an actual look at the gas attack. That's going to put Yang to sleep, unfortunately. But I think we're going to be fine. Another Titan ought to do it. And I have a jump and an attack from Cecil coming down the pipe. This fight is over. Don't put Rydia to sleep. Okay. There we go. Down goes Dr. Lugae. We get 3,000 XP and 4,000 gil. I like that. And the tower key. Dr. Lugae says, ha ha ha! This Tower of Bab-il connects the ground and underground. Rubicant has already moved all the crystals to the upper world. Oh no, the crystals aren't here. We have failed yet again. And he says, I shall annihilate the dwarves with my super cannon. Ha ha ha! Rydia says the dwarves are in danger. Yang says we must stop the super cannon. Kane says we must destroy it. So now we gotta get back to that locked room. And we can open it now using our tower key. And I gotta tell you, I'm very interested in saving the dwarves, because if people are not calling out Lollyho in the underground, is it even really the underground anymore? That's not something we can allow to happen. I wonder if there was a better name than Super Cannon. Or if that is a correct translation. Somehow I doubt it. It feels a little bit lazy. But let's get ourselves to the super cannon and foil this plot. We're getting all kinds of rare drops. Check this out. One of them just dropped another fire blade, and we've gotten a fire shield. That's really wild to me. Anyway, let's put our tower key to use. Door is open, and let's put a stop to this. Goodbye, dwarves. Cecil says your fun is over. And they reply, you, how did you get in here? Get them! However, unfortunately for them, they're just 3 Dark Imps. I don't know how these Dark Imps thought to themselves, I've got a great plan. And the plan is, let's get these beasts that can kill us in one hit. Alright, get out of my way, Dark Imps. Rosa learned size, but I don't really care about that. But they say, how about this? And they somehow manage to flip the switches anyway. No one can stop the super cannon anymore. That is not good. Cecil says, oh. Kane says, what? Cecil says, Yang. Rosa says, what are you doing? Yang says, I'll take care of this. Go on and escape. And Rydia cries out, no, don't. Cecil says, it'll explode. Yang says, go. And he gives us a monk punch that sends us into next week, all the way through the door to the other room. Yang. Yang says, tell my wife to live for me. Kane says, open up, Yang. Rydia says, Yang. Rosa says, please, please don't do this. Yang says, it was a good trip with you all. Cecil says, Yang, open the door. And Yang screams. Yang! But there's no reply. And if we try the door, it doesn't open. Yang is gone. He sacrificed himself to save the dwarves. But you know what? That's what heroes do. The people that are around Cecil are all willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. And that's what being a good guy means. And now that we've gotten our first random encounter out of the way, the music's gonna go back to normal. And we've got to trudge out of here down a party member. And if you're thinking, why not just cast exit and get out of here, I'll show you why. It doesn't work. So we gotta walk all the way out, and that's gonna be a bit of a hike. So while we're doing that, I wanted to talk about another story about Takahashi Tokita. I already mentioned him as the lead dev and the person who felt that the pace was improved by cutting down the script. But he's a very interesting guy. He originally just wanted to be a theater actor, just a guy with dreams of being on stage. And instead, he somehow wound up a full-time Square employee, and this game was the first game he directed. I think Tofu are new. Have we seen these already? I don't know. I'm gonna keep it in, though. I think the Tofu enemies, we've already seen maybe Flan, maybe Slime, something like that. I like that they kind of look like Meatwad from Aqua Teen. But Tokita had such a great time working on this game, he thought to himself, this is what I want to do with my life now. I want to be, and I quote, a great creator of video games. And let me ask you if you think he succeeded, because he directed this game, and then he also went to direct Parasite Eve and a little-known Super Nintendo title called Chrono Trigger. So if you ask me, I think he truly, truly succeeded at that. I'll tell you what I'm not looking forward to. We may as well burn a tent here, I think. Just make sure we don't get caught with our pants down MP-wise. What I was going to say is that what I'm not looking forward to is telling Yang's wife what happened. Because we can still go visit her, and while it sounds very unpleasant, I do think it's something we should do. This encounter rate is giving me the business, my lord. But that sort of thing is what I mean when I say this game was really the first foray into very dramatic storytelling. I mean, these things are legitimately sad that have happened so far. Uh-oh. You have amused me a lot. Golbez. This is all for play, kids. Farewell. And he's destroying the bridge. We gotta run for it. But we weren't fast enough, and we go plummeting down, but here comes the Enterprise. Yes! Just in time. Sid. Sid says, where's Yang? Rosa says he, and Cecil says, to destroy the super cannon. Sid says, I see. And Rydia says, poor Yang. Sid says, who's this girl? And Cecil introduces her as Rydia, the caller of Mist. But there's no time to catch up. Shucks, they are coming. And immediately the Red Wings are chasing us. Kane says, can't we shake them off? Sid says, looks like they've modified the Red Wings. Rydia says he's catching up. And Sid says, give it your best, Enterprise. But it doesn't seem like we can get any further away from them. The engine can't last much longer. Cecil, take the control. Rosa says, Sid. Cecil says, what are you doing? Sid says, get out of the underground. I'll close the hole with this bomb. This is his plan? Oh no. Oh, Sid. Sid says, I wanted to see your children, Rosa, Cecil. But I guess I'll stay here for a while. Go to Baron and get my workers to help you. Cecil says, Sid, and Rydia says, come on. Be good, Rydia. Hurry to Baron. And he leaps over the side. And while he plummets, Sid says, Golbez, I'll show you the great fireworks of Sid, the master engineer. And he detonates the bomb. And the hole to the underground begins to collapse. And did we just lose Sid and Yang back to back? Rosa says, Sid. And Rydia says, why? Kane says, it's too dangerous. But Cecil says, we'll head toward Baron. Oh, and that musical cue is so good. It's just the kick in the pants you need to keep going after all of these tragic things have happened. Now, I would like to point out that what Sid says was that what he said was that he would stay there for a while, so it means that he wasn't planning on that killing him. But we'll check back on that later. For now, the underground is closed. Now, one thing that I want to show really quick is that Baron is right up here. But that tower in the underground goes all the way from the underground to above ground right here. That's the Tower of Babel. Now, that doesn't mean that we can land in here and get back down there right now or anything, but the Kingdom of Eblan that was mentioned is right over here. And Rubicant said that it was destroyed, and I would be very interested to go check out what happened there. So that's what we're going to do for right now, but that's going to have to wait until next time, because I'm all out of time for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Final Fantasy Friday.